All right, we're going. Yes, people, we're live. We're back. Who would have thought you'll see us so soon after that brilliant Transfer Daily show earlier? But me and Silver Fox are back, and we have. It's breaking news. I'm not sure if people have seen, but in the last 20 minutes or so, it's been announced Liverpool have got their wish, and our first leg game in the Carabao Cup has been postponed. Liverpool, obviously, a lot of COVID case. Well, we don't know how many COVID cases they've got, but they've said they've got a lot. Obviously, Klopp was missing from the last game, and now the assistant manager has also gone down with COVID. Um, so yeah, this tomorrow's game has now been officially postponed, and it will be replayed on Thursday, the 20th of January. So, Silver Fox, first initial thoughts: is it Klopp being Klopp, or do you reckon they generally have a lot of players? Obviously, it doesn't help Mane and Salah being away, and Keita, so that's three players down straight away. But how does it sit with you?
I don't know, man. It's all coincidental, really. It may be true, but what I want to see, and I've got questions more than anything. Now, I'm an NFL fan,
Mm,
and you've seen throughout this season there's been no games postponed, no cancelled
mm,
games,
no.
and this week's the last week of the regular season. What they've been doing is they have been told to issue a list of players publicly
Mm.
of those who've tested positive for COVID. Now, why don't we do the same over here with the football?
Yeah, that winds me up. I think it should be transparent. Like,
They do testing every day when they get there, when they leave to
mm,
training, games. They get tested every time.
mm,
Now, I know we've got a bit of an issue in this country at the moment in terms of testing and how limited we are. Well, I know
yeah,
that, but even before now, we still could have been doing this. Well, why aren't we publicizing a list of players,
mm,
and then the FA or the Football League, whoever it is, can take a look at it and go, look at their squad and go, we've got quite a few youth players there still available.
mm,
Play them.
mm, mm.
Because that's what they do
Yeah,
with the NFL. That's what they do with the NFL. Now, here's an example. I'm a Chargers fan. Last week they played the Texans, who are supposedly one of the worst teams in the league. They've lost
yeah,
11, won 4. The Chargers had probably one of the biggest lists going with players that got COVID. So they had to play a lot of young fringe players. They
mm,
lost the game. But did they moan about it? No, they
no.
didn't. Because it
And
is what it is.
yeah, I think you sometimes set a precedent, don't you? You try and do the right thing and ends up being the wrong thing because the moment they cancelled one game, that's it. Now every team, as soon as you've got injuries and COVID, you're just going to go to the league and say, right, these are out. Because again, it's not even just the COVID thing; it's the injuries as well. That what the rules is at the moment is if you've got 13 of your 25 available and I think two keepers, you have to play, but it doesn't say if it's down to COVID. So you might only have actually one or two COVID cases, and the rest
Yep.
could be injuries, and you can now get your games
Yep.
called off. Which, to me, is yeah. I say obviously you don't want people catching COVID. You don't want
No,
obviously
no.
you wish everyone a speedy recovery.
Mm.
But it's just the element of you have your squads, you have your youth teams. Do you know what I mean? Even if they put a rule in to say players can cut short their loans, but because there's like a rule you can only play for two teams in a season,
Mm.
maybe then they say actually, well, teams that are struggling with COVID, maybe you were to call some of your actual homegrown players back and then you can send them out again. Something, do you know what I mean? But I don't think forfeiting games is the way forward. Because yeah, it's just it's unfair. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple
It,
as that. And again, Klopp hasn't made it
mm.
better on himself because he's been moaning a lot lately about
He's been
congestion.
moaning about
So
it. He's been remember at
it
Spurs
feels
with the
to
whole hand
me,
sanitizer. Yeah.
yeah, and it feels to me it's just a way of he's missing a couple of players. Again, Oxlade Chamberlain's just coming back. I think Curtis Jones is just coming back. So is it a way of getting a bit more time in their legs? Do you know what I mean? To get them going.
Mm.
Like, who knows? Do you know what I mean? I know he's not going to have Salah and Mane back for these games, but it's just like, again, it'd be interesting to see now. All of a sudden, Thiago might be fit in a couple of weeks. I'm not too sure on their injury record, but it could be all of a sudden Matip missed the game on the weekend. So is he injured? Maybe he comes back. Do you know what I mean? It's just a way of strengthening ready for that game, which I understand as a manager you're going to do because you want your best players out. But where does it stop? And I like the stance UEFA took with Tottenham,
Yeah.
because I think if Tottenham had declared who was actually missing, I think they would have had a leg to stand on. But from what the opposition
They
manager,
didn't.
Rennes manager, was
Yeah.
saying is they didn't tell us who was out. It could have been all under 23 players. Like they just wanted it cancelled. So, and again, it might have been say Son and then a load of 23 under 23s, and Tottenham tried to pull a fast one. So, I think they should publish who is actually out with COVID. I don't
Yeah.
think injury should be taken into account. I
No,
think if it's injuries, that's injury. Do you know what I mean? That's part of life, isn't it?
that's
COVID's a bit
football.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they should publish who it
These
is who's
clubs need to
actually
start
got COVID.
taking responsibility. That's what they really need to do. And I like to think with Arsenal what we've done, because we've had cases.
Yeah.
Arteta recently, he's had it and he stepped straight back out. He's like, right, okay,
Mm.
I'll have to step back. And it's the rest of the team and the coaching staff got on with it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get their distance from him. And I also heard that Arsenal, I think they were one of the first clubs that went back to the first protocol when it
Testing
all
every day.
started. Tested every day. As soon as they got into the car park, test, boom. How many clubs are actually doing that?
Yeah. You would hope to
Again,
think
we
most of
don't
them
know.
are.
We need more transparency on what these clubs are
Mm.
actually trying to do.
But I think that's the key. I think it's the transparency. It's very easy to just say COVID, we've got to cancel, and it might only be a couple of cases. Like I presume
Could be
every
just a
team
knock.
will be testing. Yeah, and again, you look at that game. I can't remember who we played against, where we had 3 right backs all out with COVID. Do you know what I mean? But you have to go and play. Again, that's very easy to turn around and say, oh, there's more cases, and do you know what I mean? But I think that's part and parcel, and you never know what's going to come for that. I look back at Rashford's career. If it weren't for a lot of injuries, we probably wouldn't see Marcus Rashford. Do you know what I mean? He burst onto the scene in the UEFA Cup game, left school to go and play, scored 2, then come to Arsenal on the weekend and scored 2. And imagine if his manager turned around and said, "No, rather than play Rashford, actually, let's just abandon the game." And do you know what I mean? Marcus Rashford may never have been who he is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to throw these players in the deep end, and we've all like you see the amount of players these guys have, and they've got the best academies coming up. We all rave about our youth team.
Yeah.
Throw them in. Sometimes you've got to throw them in, haven't you? And I think the FA
Well,
hasn't helped
it
themselves.
creates opportunity at the elite level for these youngsters
Yeah,
to
yeah.
just kind of not exactly establish themselves, but give themselves a chance to
Show what
see
they
how
can
they
do.
match with some of these big boys. You know,
And I think it's the difference
I'm,
between.
I'm
I
a,
know last year. Sorry, just quickly. I know last year when games were getting called off, it was more because they didn't know how to contain it. So
yeah, it's
actually,
different.
if we
Yeah.
travel with this whole squad, so
Mm.
Liverpool travel. Liverpool got a few cases. They travel to London. Also, they can infect the whole of the Arsenal squad. Um, I think that was probably why things were getting called off then. But now, again, if you could isolate these players very early, like we've seen happen, it stops the spread. So actually, yes, say I don't know, Van Dijk's got COVID, but the rest of the 15 don't. So like, what's wrong with them not playing? It just, yeah, it's to me, it doesn't make sense calling all these games off at the moment.
I'd like to think that it's all genuine, because I'd like to think that all these teams will want to play these games, because you're going to cause yourself a bit of a pile up. And say if
Mm.
you have another number of cases, you then got postponed again, and then you got even more fixtures to play later on in the
Yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah. They're going to be overloaded with fixtures, like
That's what
because they got Champions League. If they obviously get whatever happens in the cup, FA Cup to come, Prem, like they're going to have a fixture pile up, which end up could be worse for them. So, but and again, when you're in a go on,
go on.
yeah,
No, I was
sometimes
just going to refer. Go on.
like for me, the Wolves game frustrated me that being called off because it was like
Yeah.
we're on a good little run. So again, if it's depending where you are, sometimes you might want that little week break to think actually, do you know what, let's get ourselves back in order. There's too many games coming. When you're winning or in good form, you want the games to come, even if people are missing. Like, do you know what, we're going to keep going because, yeah, we want to hit the ground. We want to continue the momentum. So yeah, go for it. What was you going to say? Sorry.
No, all I was going to say, I was going to go back to the whole, this could be a chance for young players to come out and showcase what they're about. I'm going to refer back to the NFL, obviously, the way they do things. And I've seen examples this season in the NFL that these younger players have come out and they've performed, and the people are talking about them.
Mm.
They're getting a chance to perform at a national stage, elite level, on global TV. I think maybe this is what we should. But obviously, it all depends on the numbers, and they should be leaning. You can bring some of your youth up just so you can play the game.
Yeah, but there shouldn't be. I don't think there's any restrictions on youth players anyway. Because I think
No,
from
I don't
what
think there
my
is.
understanding of the 25 is, obviously you register 25 players at the start of the season. You don't actually have to
Yeah,
register 25. You can register
yeah, I
18.
don't think so. No.
But anyone under 21 counts. They can play. You don't have to register them. They're automatically allowed to play.
Yeah.
So even though might have only registered, just say you registered 25, you could still play 35 players in that season
Right,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah. I thought that might have been
using
the
them.
case.
So so I think this is where the sticking point is, because some teams might only register 19 players out of the 25. So if 5 of them are missing, that automatically puts them under 13, say. So um, I think that's part of the issue, because
But then
they don't.
that should face some kind of punishment, because
Yeah.
why have they not? Why
Well,
have
to
not
be is
the field it?
it's weird, because again, like for instance, we look at Saka, Patino. They might not have to be
Mm,
registered in our 25 because they're youth players. So
yeah,
they don't have to be registered because of their age. So if we then had COVID, just say we had 14, because Saka's not actually registered, even though he's played all season, we can now say we've only got 13 registered, even though Saka's not registered. Do you know what I mean? It's so weird. So it needs sorting.
why
But I
would
think
you want to
once you
pull
can,
fast one like that though? This is what I don't. If that
yeah,
is the case,
yeah. No,
by the way,
I think it's to get
we're not
more.
saying that it's
No.
this is that, this is that. But what we're trying to say here is, if you just join us as well, is that we want more transparency. We want
Mm,
a list to be published, just so we don't go on these little
yeah,
conversations and say, are they doing it to pull fast one? Are they running scared?
no,
What, have they got
no.
a couple of knocks and thought, do you know what? Let's just say COVID.
Mm. Yeah. Because again, I looked at their team the other day, and their team was still strong against Chelsea.
It was
Do you know what I
strong.
mean? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Mane, Salah, and Keita, which obviously
But
does weaken
go
you.
on.
But I wonder who. Yeah, it'd just be interesting to know who's actually caught COVID from them. Like that would be the interesting thing, and hopefully that comes out. We've got some comments going on. So Boots
Yes,
is in the
dudes.
building. He thinks they're waiting until Mane and Salah are back. Let's hope not. And yeah, it is confirmed. It's just it's all over Sky and BBC and that now. That it's been postponed. So the game will be played on Thursday the 20th. So Thursday the 13th we'll be going to Anfield, and then Thursday the 20th they'll be coming to the Emirates. This is what Big Dogs is saying. Yeah,
So
he's
what?
saying
They've
same
actually
thing.
switched to home. They haven't moved it. They've switched to home games, the away games
No,
around,
so
because we also
the Liverpool were at home next week, so that's staying how it was, and now we're playing away the second leg. So the first leg is now at home for Liverpool, and the second leg is at home for Arsenal, rather than the first leg being at
I don't
home
know how
for
I feel
Arsenal.
about that.
Yeah, you see what happens, I suppose. But do you know what? It's probably better for us, rather than going to Anfield. If it's a tight game, just say we're winning 2-1 after the first, they've got to go to Anfield. It makes it more difficult, doing it. So
Mind you,
they're
we've
coming
seen
to our
past
cauldron.
Carabao Cup games there, haven't we? We've
Yeah,
played
yeah,
them up
yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's not nice.
I
It's
didn't
not
go
nice.
far
But
back
yeah.
as the Baptista game.
Oh God, remember that
I would
Julio?
call that the Adelaide game, because he was brilliant that night.
Yeah. Um, Big Dogs is saying at least the Spurs v Chelsea game is still on. That should be a good one. Yeah, let's come on. It's one of the ones you don't want to celebrate any. Well, Chelsea, you've got to go for Chelsea, haven't you? But it's one of them games there.
If Spurs win
Um,
that game, win that tie, we have to win.
mm, yeah. Have to. And Boozer saying, remember when they played the youth team versus Villa last year? They can get a team together, definitely. And they played a really changed team against Leicester in the last round. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. Maybe it's they're waiting for Klopp to be back. I'm not too sure what it is, but again, let's just go and do the business. I think that's the best way to
Yeah,
deal
now
with
it's
this, isn't it?
Stevenberg, and we almost beat City. Just enough of the excuses.
Yeah, I think the key to it is you just go and beat them. Do you know what I mean? And then you say, well, that was all a waste of time. Whereas if they beat us, they'd be turning around saying, actually, yeah, it was a great thing to do. Because I look at Wolves beating Man United and say they've made the right choice there. But yeah, no. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, hopefully Arsenal, do you know what I mean, don't get too many cases in the next couple of weeks.
Next week might not even go on still. You never know.
Yeah, that's the thing. It depends what position they're in, isn't it? But yeah, I think it's because it's Klopp. It makes it a bit funnier because he's been so vocal
It's
about
yeah.
people getting the
Oh, yeah.
vaccine, and fixture pile up. It's always one thing or another with him. So at the moment, so yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, Arsenal, we're just going to keep doing
It
what
would
we
be
do.
nice next Thursday if we did get a nice little win against them at their ground. It's
I
my
love
son's
that.
8th birthday as well. Obviously, he's a little gooner, so it'd be even better.
Yeah, lovely present for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, anything else you want to add to that, Mr. Silver Fox?
No, I think I've said I've had a little moan about it now. So
Mm.
I was looking forward to it. I was really looking forward to it, but we all knew it was coming when we heard the whispers. 2-3 days ago, we had a feeling, didn't we? That's why we haven't done a preview yet.
Yeah, because to be
Because we
fair,
knew.
and I brought tickets the other day. And then a few people saying I could get some more tickets, and I was like, do you know what? Just hold your horses. I said I don't think this one will be going ahead. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But
well, if you're watching this replay, I want to see people comment on the situation and the whole COVID and the postponements. What's your thoughts on it? Because I'd be really interested to see what people have got to say about it.
yeah, I agree. Like, it's a bit of a mad one, man. Like, I don't think you should be able to cancel, especially if you're including your injured players into why you can't field the team.
Absolutely.
Like, to me, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
again, especially these teams with Cat One academies, like you've got the best of the bunch. You know what I mean? So yeah, there should be no excuses for not having enough players, in my opinion, at that level. Like if you're going
Yeah, so
League
they have a good
League One
academy
and Two, I
themselves. So
understand. Yeah. So right, Liverpool, stop hiding.
that would mean though we'll play a weaker team next week now. So it's before Spurs.
Yeah, it's for the Spurs game, isn't it? Yeah, it is. You're right. Jesus.
That will
And
change
are
everything
we
before
playing
about.
Spurs Saturday? Are we playing Spurs Saturday or Sunday?
Do you know what? Let's have a quick look because that would be
That should
interesting to
change
see.
everything as well. If we got them on a Saturday, they need to move that back a day to at least a Sunday.
You'd think they would. I'm being as quick as I possibly can.
This is the Premier League, and they don't like Arsenal at the moment. We're going to be discussing that later on, Gunslingers.
It's 6 to. I guess it's a Sunday, 4:30, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, so yeah, it'll be Sunday. It'll be Thursday, Sunday. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't try and bring that forward because it seems like the FA have got it in for us at the moment, which
Yeah,
I
they might
think
play
we'll be
us.
discussing
They
tonight on
might play us on
Gunslingers.
Tuesday before the Carabao Cup game.
Yeah.
Friday night game,
Yeah, give us
Sky
a Friday
Sports.
night game. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, tonight
More on that
Gunslingers.
later.
Yeah, we'll be discussing this FA stuff later on tonight and the VAR and all the rest of it. So yeah, some more to come. But yeah, I'll catch you up tonight then, brother. And guys, thank you for tuning in. I know it was a quick spur in a moment, just throw it on quickly, but yeah, it's important obviously to get that information out because yeah, it's not everyone is privy to all the info, I suppose. So
I was in the middle of putting the Christmas tree down, so I will continue doing that now.
and I'm doing work, kind of. But yeah, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you tonight for Gunslingers. Silver Fox, blessings as always. Boots, Bants, and Big Dogs. Nice to see you in the comments. And guys, make sure you keep commenting after the stream if you've got any information, because again, we're on again tonight on Gunslingers, so any good comments might get brought up in that as well. So be really interesting to hear everyone's opinions. Silver Fox, maybe a little poll or something if you get 5 minutes on should teams have to disclose.
Something like that.
Yeah, teams have to disclose who's got COVID and injuries, or do we keep it anonymous? So yeah, let's get that going. But yeah, cool. Guys, thank you very much. We'll see you tonight at 8 p.m., I believe.
I think you're on at 8 p.m. Yep.
Yeah, it's Nigeria. If
I'll be at
Nigerians,
work, so I won't be about.
if Nigerians in the stream, then 8:05 because you know he's always late.
You'll see me in the comments.
All right, boy. Take care.